Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk about PayPal. It got a downgrade on Monday. Stock is down just under 2% or so. So the effect of the downgrades right now don't really have that much of a big effect on the stock because it is down quite a lot, right? We've talked about that in the past. Current market cap just under $70 billion, forward PE of just under 12 times. If you look at year-to-date performance, it's down 11.6%. But as we've seen in the past, you can clearly see price to earnings, EV to EBITDA, price to sales, price to free cash flow, all of them are down significantly lower than in their past 8 years. Now, if we look at shareholder value, of course, if we look at purely the stock price, it hasn't been great for shareholders, but the value they're getting, the EPS, you can see shares outstanding have come down heavily actually in the last year or so. They're still going to buy back $5 billion worth of shares. Free cash flow over the last couple of years has been a bit stable around that $4 to $5 billion in free cash flow. You would like to see it increase a bit more in the future. Let's wait and see what happens. New CEO, a bit of a transition, growth in Braintree. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to talk about the note in just a second. We can see here the EPS 5-year growth rate sits at just under 17%. So it is quite okay. We've seen Google growth at 17%. We've seen Apple's growth at 10%. Of course, those are big tech companies, not really comparable to PayPal, but just so you get the picture here a little bit. Now, jumping into the note here. So I posted this on X. If you're not following me there, link will be down in the description. I'm trying to get monetized on there as well. We're just under 9,000 followers. So thank you very much for all the support. So PayPal downgraded as new CEO faces Apple Square competition. By the way, a bit of a breaking news about Square later on in this video. So SVB MoffettNathanson analyst Lisa Ellis downgraded PayPal stock to market perform. So it's definitely not a very negative downgrade. So she says here, looking forward, unfortunately, we expect PayPal's gross profit growth to remain lackluster in the low to mid single digits. We see the potential for further downside to our estimates, particularly given the strong momentum of Apple Pay, which will begin to benefit from the powerful network effect in payments. In addition to the competitive pressure on PayPal branded checkout and the uncertain impact of the aggressive Braintree pricing strategy, new PayPal CEO Chris has a few other challenges to contend with. The recent deceleration in Venmo's growth is likely due to competitive pressures from Square's Cash App. Venmo is not currently a significant revenue contributor for PayPal, but has long been viewed as a source of long-term upside. So let's unpack. I'll start with the last part here. We know that Venmo right now is not really a big contributor to PayPal's overall revenue, but I do think that it's going to be an extremely crucial puzzle piece to the whole PayPal puzzle in the future. Yes, we also know, we've seen that in past videos, that Cash App is performing a bit better than PayPal. Now, up next, with regards to the branded checkout, with regards to Braintree, we've talked about Braintree when talking about Adyen as well, the competitive landscape there with Stripe as well. I believe we're going to see some positive signs in the coming quarters. We know that Braintree is growing fast, and we actually have here a bit more information. I believe I showed you this in the Adyen video at the start of the month. So this is from Simple Investing on X. So he shared here a little chat with an analyst talking about Adyen and PayPal. So he highlighted here, our checks suggest prices were set at an interchange and even interchange minus, i.e. losing money on every transaction. Talking here about Braintree and PayPal. The new management, new CEO, is focusing on offsetting this decline by offering value-added services to SMBs. We know that his experience is in that exact area. So therefore, we believe most of the shift in the share of wallets has happened in the past couple of quarters, and the risk is rather limited going forward. Talking about PayPal, Braintree, and Adyen here. Now, in the last earnings call, we also had this comment here talking about the PSP business, talking about Braintree. So we continue to see impressive traction in our PSP business with our growth rates nearly 30% on a currency neutral basis. Many of the largest tech companies in the world are now either using our Braintree capabilities or are in deep strategic negotiations with us to do so. We know that this number is also higher than the one that Adyen currently reported, and that is why, well, Adyen stock crashed over 50%. There are some competitive pressures, especially in the North American markets. Then with regards to branded checkout, you can see here the numbers, but all in all, they expect branded checkout volumes will strengthen throughout the back half of the year, supported by traction from our key strategic initiatives. Now, coming back to the gross profit growth here, they said it will remain lackluster. Well, we can clearly see here from their fiscal year 2023 guidelines, what do we get? Well, we get revenue for the second half of the year. The growth is expected to be at least in line with the first half, non-GAAP EPS growth of approximately 20%, non-GAAP operating margin at least 100 basis points expansion, free cash flow of approximately $5 billion, which will also result in share repurchases of around $5 billion. And then CapEx will be around 3% of revenue. So in my opinion, we are seeing here some improvements. So to say that it's going to be lackluster, disappointing, I mean, maybe they haven't really been paying attention. Then some more news that you might have missed with regards to Braintree, PayPal. So Uber and PayPal expand relationship. Uber was already one of their clients. They're now just expanding that partnership. So Uber signs a multi-year global deal with PayPal, deepening PayPal's role as a critical strategic partner as Uber continues to expand and scale in markets worldwide. This deal expands their area of partnerships to include additional processing through PayPal Braintree, alternative domestic debit network routing across a range of geographies, instant driver and courier payout to PayPal and Venmo. Here again, Venmo becomes an important part, and custom support for new lines of business. For those that forgot, in the last earnings presentation, we also got this. So Booking and PayPal Braintree also expanding their relationship in the international markets. Now, of course, with all those partnerships, you can already start to think about the potential of Venmo in the future. Can it become a hyper wallet where you can book your trips through it? Maybe can happen. We know that there are partnerships with Starbucks, with Amazon, paying with Venmo. Here on the screen, you can clearly see tap to pay for Venmo. So merchants can now accept contactless, credit and debit cards, Apple Pay and other digital wallets using the Venmo app on their iPhone or Android without any additional hardware. So the story for Venmo, although Venmo is already pretty big, all things considered, we are still far from the end game. Then with regards to Square specifically, I got a notification saying that Square CEO is stepping down. Stock was down 2% after hours. And I was like, wow, is Jack Dorsey stepping down? Stock should be up 10%. But no, it is Square specifically, the Square side of the business. Alyssa Henry is stepping down, will depart the company effective October 2nd, 2023. And so what do we have here? Well, the exact opposite to what I was thinking about before. Jack Dorsey, the company's Block head and chairperson, will also serve as the Square head. Now, of course, if you want to compare Block to PayPal, here it is. You can look at total revenue, free cash flow, return on equity, gross profit margin, and return on capital. Of course, currently, I mean, it's pretty clear PayPal is the winner here on all fronts of profitability, return on equity, return on capital as well. But if you believe in the mission, if you believe in the business of Block, then you might say that currently it is just in a bit of a struggle. Actually, every big fintech company is currently right now, besides the Visas and the MasterCards, are currently struggling. Well, if you just look at the stock, because the business-wise, I'll pop up the main numbers on the screen for Block. I mean, the company is still growing quite nicely. The only problem is it's that the bottom line of the business should be much better. It's something that they failed to address for so long. We've talked about that in the previous video. And hopefully, we're going to see some better results from them in the coming quarters. Not from the top line, because that has been fine. But from a profitability standpoint, things should be doing much better. And so to conclude, with regards to PayPal stock itself, it's currently still around that 20-day moving average. I still believe that bottom was that $60, $59 or so. If we can create a solid base here until the next earnings report, then move on our way up, if obviously the numbers are okay, then I'm fine with that. I think it's going to be very, very helpful for long-term investors if we can create a stable base around these prices right here. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.